Well, hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Island Church Weekly Podcast. I'm Matt Lombardi, back after a week off. Pastor Will, thanks so much for taking the mantle and going solo last week. I really appreciate it.
Yes, well, I had no one to blame except myself last week, so I
Cool,
hope you
cool.
and your family had a great time together.
We did. We went over, had a nice little spring break trip, got lots of time with the kids. Yeah, it was really, really good to be away, and now we're really happy to be back, as we always are.
Tell our people again how old your kids are.
Yeah, so we have a 6-year-old son, a 4-year-old daughter, and a 2-year-old daughter. So we were gone for 9 days with them in a car, a minivan that we rented. And so, yeah, you can imagine how many Cheetos were all over the floor and raisins and all kinds of other gross snacks. But no meltdowns, no fights. Everyone did great. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. Thanks for asking. Okay.
That's super.
So this week we have kind of a special thing. We have people are getting a 2-for-1 special. We have so much stuff that God's been up to at Island Church that we're going to have to break this into 2 episodes, so we don't have one long run-on podcast. But first, let's just kind of recap last week at Island Church. Pastor Will, how was Sunday? Give us a little bit of a rundown there.
Here's another good Sunday, man. We had our 8:45 service and our 10 o'clock service, and that's obviously 10 o'clock's more well attended. But I think the last couple of weeks we've had guests like even down or even some of our members down the front row, and so it's been good at 10, and a few more people are trickling at 8:45. Particularly since we didn't have time change this week, that was a good thing. So wasn't quite so early, but there's good service and really a lot of good feedback on the message and the messages recently, and on just the music and this overall atmosphere. It's just a good culture that's being developed, and people are really God speaking to people, and people are responding. So that's really neat to watch. And then afterwards, we did the crazy thing of trying to stuff 3,500 eggs. We had purchased about 2,000, plus we stuffed about 3,500, and we did that down the fellowship hall. And they did that in about 45, 50 minutes. But people just stayed. We even had a first-time guest that stayed down, that came down. And so between our members and newer attenders that hadn't really been with us through, say, an Easter season, and even a new person. So they just had big fun doing it. It was a lot of fun down there. And so it was a good day all the way around. And so just really, really grateful for that. So it was a good day.
Awesome. Busy day, but good day. Lots of preparations for what's coming up, obviously, in just a few weeks here. Easter egg hunt, all the things kind of happen. So, Pastor Will, let us know, with Easter coming up, what do people need to be looking out for? What do they need to be aware of with that big day coming up?
Well, our common friend that says people come to know Jesus best under the what?
Arm of a trusted friend.
Arms of a trusted friend.
Yep.
And so we want to be extending our invitations now. We can make all the preparation, do the logistics and everything else. But in the end, it's person to person. I think even Billy Graham said there's no such thing as mass evangelism, because people invite people and they engage people, their friends. When that happens, they put them in a position to hear from God, and God speaks and they respond. And so that's how it works. And so this next couple of weeks, I would just encourage us to be all mindful of the people around us, the people that we can invite to either the sunrise service or our 10 o'clock service. I mean, they've got either 6:45 a.m. option or the 10 o'clock. And just be making invitations and to these people, and then one of the big things around this whole event as well, people can be praying about what they would personally do, is to consider a missions offering. The church in the past hasn't really done a regular missions offering throughout the year. The church is on a mission. Every time a person gives back to God, they are giving to the mission of God, right? So we know this is the case. But we don't do anything special, haven't done anything in terms of a special offering each year. Sometimes people do this for national and international. And we'll get back with you on some more details, but I would just encourage everyone to consider being involved in this kind of annual missions offering. And we're going to be supporting things here locally. Next step is a crisis pregnancy center thing. You've got our prison ministry. We've got a person in our church, and he and his wife, and they're engaged every week in a maximum security prison. Actually, so much is going on there. They're about to send people out from that prison into other prisons that have been walking with God, going through the program, so they can start little churches in these other prisons. And so just to see life transformed, that's pretty amazing things. But that's not something that we can do from our building right here from the island. But we have people that are doing this. So that people just can be praying about, one, how can I be involved inviting people. And then two, what would God have me do just in terms of missions offering and engagement with financially to see the gospel spread. That's, what better time to do it than at Easter? We think about the resurrection of Christ. And so they can be praying about that. That'd be a good thing.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I know in our next episode, we're going to talk about some of the exciting things coming up in the life of the church. But if there was one way that someone could be praying for the church this week, just one, what would you have it be?
Well, there's so many good things happening. There's so many praise things actually happening, Matt. But we're in the process. We'd like to even reveal some details this coming Sunday night. If they could just pray about where we're going to reach people, we're doing the right kinds of things, but that God would just give us favor as we take the next step in our building process. We're building expansion. We're meeting with the architect. We're working through plans. But really, it's not about the building. It's about the people that we're trying to reach. And so there will be kids there that come to Easter. And right now, our church is not positioned to handle children on Sunday morning, more than just a few of them. And so really, the building is not just by itself. It's an extension of what we're already doing. And right now, there may be a little noise that people can hear, but they're in our building voting. People are in our community. And so we just need additional space, and we want God's favor. We're not trying to. I don't know any pastor that thinks building a building is a good idea just because it's not in their wheelhouse. But you're building a tool, a missions tool. And so I know there's some people that are considering what God would have them to do personally through the campaign or through giving financially or some other type of way with that. And that just should be on our minds and our hearts, because we think about all the people that are going to gather. We're going to have 200 or 300 kids over here, and we need a place to gather them up and to do a homeschool co-op, to do cheerleading camp, to do a little basketball playing or league or something with some kids. Anyway, there's just lots of things because we love the kids and we love the community, and so they can be praying about that.
I love it. Well, Pastor Will, that great ways that people can get involved. Thank you so much for taking the time. We'll talk in just a few more minutes, but if you're watching this, you probably won't see it for a few more days about some of the new exciting things happening at Island Church that we couldn't stuff into this episode. So Pastor Will, until our next filming session, thanks so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt.